and 1, 2, 3, go. What's up, everyone? I'm Carter Banks, professional audio engineer, composer, artist, producer for Timcast Music, and artist for Trash House Records, as well as lots of other sound stuff. But today I am going to pick up where I left off as far as breaking down together again, because I feel like I didn't do a thorough enough job last time. And so, as I was saying, this will be part 2 of a however many parts series. Picking up where we left off with vocals, there's a lot of vocals as instruments, or voice as an instrument in this song. First thing, actually, let's do this. Before we get into the rest of the vocals, the first thing, I guess let's just do chronologically. We'll chronologically go through it right here. So if we're going to start from the very, very beginning. Of course, you hear that kick. What sounds like an airplane sound, actually. Then you hear a snare. Some very, very low, rubbery bass. A lead comes in. You got your pads in there. And that little... Then you got your vocals. But we already covered the ethereal ooze in the last video. I'm going to show you what I did for this little plane sound here, which is, it's really not even... And this is crazy, because I just was randomly looking at different YouTube shorts. They just popped up in my feed, being that I follow a lot of engineers on YouTube. And this little... Let's see where I got this. What did I call this? Tremolo keys, saw bass, verbed bells, pitched noise. I call this pitched noise. Let me unfreeze the track real quick. So right now we've got this fading in of a... This is just an elevator sound. I guess it's an elevator white noise. The BPM doesn't really matter. The key doesn't really matter, because what I've done in here, I'll show you. I have EQ'd this with the Pro Q3 to fit the key of the song. So let's solo this. Wild, right? So if I bypass this, watch if I bypass this. That's just an airplane sound taking off. Isn't that wild? So look at this. The song starts off with just a splice sample. It's literally just some white noise that I have just dragged these... F those keys, gotta stop coming. Just drag these around. See those frequencies? Let me undo that so I can keep it where it was. With, without. Regular airplane sound. With. Isn't that crazy? And then I have also, I guess I've sidechained this somewhere. I sidechained it to the kick, it seems. Yeah, just to kind of get cut up and the beat kind of get ducked when the kick and other stuff comes in. But, you know, in lieu of starting the song with absolutely nothing but kick and snare, I figured this little pitched noise. I tried this YouTube short out. Wish I could link it. I just don't remember who it was. But I thought that was pretty sick. So I kept that in there. After that, obviously, we have our kick and our snare. And as you can see here, we got... This is the original kick. And this is kick OP2, original snare, snare OP2. Because the kick and the snare are so prevalent and kind of paramount to this mix, sounding like I wanted it to sound, they had to be like absolutely perfect. And when I say perfect, I mean it had to have that crisp, but I think I did a lot of EQing, if I remember correctly, with... Oh, Forgot to put the limiter on. That would make sense. Let me turn these limiters on, because it looks like I've just bypassed all these limiters for some odd reason. Make sure all those limiters are on. One thing I'll say with this song is that it is such a beast, such a specimen, that every time I pull it up, I have to shift that shit and open it, and then bear claw all the plugins back to life. If you know what that means, but hopefully you don't have to know, because it's not fun. In keeping with what I said about latency. So we got the kick and the snare going through. Got the pitched noise. Bam. Then you get hit with the real... The bass is... I spent the most time on the bass out of anything, I think. Shout out to Beat Academy, because I watched his Blinding Lights remake probably a million times, trying to get this kick and that snappy bass down. Definitely the bass. Shout out. Beat Academy, you rock. And we got that. Those plucks coming in, and then, so... This little thing, I guess I call this polysynth filter. So this actually looks like something I took from Splice and just chopped it up. It's something I'll do a lot. I got this filter. This is a one-knob filter. I believe this is also a... Well, it is a Waves plugin. This is real good if you want simple and quick and fast. If you just want, like, filter. So check it out. So I've automated this. I'm kind of kicking myself for not fading these cuts. So that kind of lays the foundation for the entire original melody that I came up with for this song. I don't think we had a... I don't think that was in the original, but it was an amalgamation of Blinding Lights-esque sounds and something that I had just been like, I could do something with that. I think later on in the song I actually used vocals only for that. But so I have that going. And here's the filter lines. So I guess it's not really automated, it's pre-automated. It's a controlled automation to get some, just some movement, like, okay, we're moving on. It's like a transitional thing. Got our plain sound. Let's go unmute our buses. And that, of course, is the... That's just pads. Pads, and there's also an ARP, and I call it a subtle ARP because you can literally barely hear this, but it's like a bump 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 bump. I believe this is also in an automated filter. A lot of automated stuff in here. A lot of filtering. Again with the one knob, and this is Synth Cell. Pretty sure this comes with Pro Tools. A lot of people use Serum, but I find that less is more when I'm doing VSTs with VST instruments, with virtual instruments. And this gives me just the bare min of what I need to... basically, I just took Power Pluck, which is a preset here, and adjusted some settings with a cutoff and the key envelopes, the attack, the delay, etc. And then we got some effects. We got ping pong delay on here, a little bit of clip distortion, some modulation, and some reverb. This is a right, and then the same thing is duplicated and panned left. So I find also with VSTs that they sound a lot better and more full when you pan them left and right to form a stereo track, even if they're already stereo. It's just one of those things that I learned to do, and I do it every time anyway, even if it's a little bit unnecessary. No less. That's the beginning of the song, before the words come in, before the vocals come in. And it doesn't really get any more interesting than that until we get to the pre-chorus, but let's just listen to that first part. Let's see if I can find everything I had. Okay, there's that. Yeah, that bass just hits so hard. Let me unmute the beat bus. It's almost too much, but it's just enough. The beat is pretty constant. Goodbye. So this reverse reverb, I'm a huge fan of reverse reverb. This is a... That's just I, and then I think I cut it off. Let's see if I can find where I did this rev verb. Here we go. This is Tim Reverse Reverb. This goes to a bus called Miscellaneous Vocals, but you can do reverse reverb several different ways. I found there's one plugin called like IR Efficient, stereo or mono, either one. It's got this one constellation presetting on there. I'll put that on a track. I will commit that track and then reverse the whole thing. And then I'll end up with like little bits of vocals like here. So this one right here, you know, I've got this... So it's really just it's like a delay throw with a fuck ton of reverb on there, but you end up cutting it correctly, you end up with this. So it really builds it up there. And then we got that. That's just like a sample I found on Splice. It sounded cool. It's the only Splice vocal sample I've ever used in anything, and it's some chick saying hey really loudly. Called a gang vox, F-gang vox. And that goes to the background bus. Goodbye. I cried into the wind. Okay, so for the pre-chorus, I think I've said this in my last video, but this is my favorite part of the song, save for the bridge. It was really hard to write a chorus that is better than this pre-chorus, which is what I had the most trouble with along the way here. But in this pre-chorus, I had to make use of lots of vocal chops. There's one track I actually called, let's see, Tim Lead Comp for Eye Chops. Again, there's not a lot of change in the music here, so I had to get creative with the way that I used the vocals as an instrument, and some of that is the eye chops right here. And I love that. It's just like and then of course the drum fill, and then that. I got really lucky in the sense that I had written this tremolo key part pretty early on. It reminded me of like a Sega Genesis Street Fighter game. Bells come in. Boom, bum, 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 bum. Yeah, love it. You got your arps. These are still in a filter here, like bum 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 bum. That pretty much keeps the song moving the entire song. It keeps the flow going. So I will reintroduce and unintroduce these multiple times throughout the song, all in a build-up to the chorus, where I add in an additional saw bass to accompany old bass, bass plucks, bass point 1, saw bass L, saw bass.R. All going into a bass mix bus where I've EQ'd it as such in Pro Q3. The crazy part about this song, and this is one of the few songs I wasn't allowed to use any kind of instrument, even an electric guitar. I couldn't do an acoustic guitar. I couldn't do anything that wasn't all electronic. So I had to get real thick with some of these layering techniques. But moving on, so yeah, maybe I'll have to take a whole video and just go down this bass rabbit hole with y'all. But something I also love to do with bells is reverse them. Here's some reverse bells going with the bells that come in the chorus. You can barely hear those. Now that was cool. This is also a way to stretch out the bells. Now this part, one of the parts of the song that, like, when I think of this song, I just can't see it the same way without that transitional ba 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 da da. There's a lot of stuff I cut out from the demo that I kept in here, and this is one of them. This is grouped in a negative decibel of 18. I'm actually not sure what the hell I was saying there, or what this actually fully comes out to be. Let's check it out. What was this before it was whatever it is now? So, this was an ad-lib that I ended up canceling, but I'm not even sure if this is tuned at all. So this is part of an ah in the word thrive. And this one, what is this? Another canceled ad-lib that was repurposed for... I took the, just the vowel, not the consonant, out of the cup of sin. So we're sitting here, we got these differently tuned I's, and this the. So ba, no consonants, all vowels, taken from two or three repurposed vocal lines. Cup of sin, ad lib, and the. Well, I drank the cup of sin. That's it. And without this hook, I don't know where the song would be. And so you just heard some reverse bells. That was a total accident. I don't even know how this got in there. Makes no sense. I'm really glad it worked out that way, though. I may have actually just forgot to mute that track. It happens again over here. Queen of the East, and I search for you. There's so much going on in here. I gotta say, it's kind of amazing that and of course, so now you have everything coming together as one. Ba, 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 ba. You got the full-on pads, pitch noise still going. You got your verbed bells, and of course your lead with some crazy-ass saw bass, some bass plucks, some arpeggio leads, which are, and then actually it's a stock plugin and expand 2. Stone make no stew, make no stone. Just come together. And I actually think this is where I left off last time. So, that is part 2. Could use a part 3, because we still got the last chorus to go, and I can dig into some deeper stuff in there instrumentally and production-wise. So let me know in the comments. Subscribe to this channel if you want to see more of these. Or tweet me at Carter Banks. Let me know what you want to see. Got a lot of songs that we've been working on, and quite a few done. So, Peace.
I'm glad you had me record that last part.
Yeah, that came out really well. I was actually really way more happy with that than